Well, former Spurs midfielder JamieO'Hara joins us, and now the perfect man, I suppose, to dissect what's happening at the club. Jamie, you weren't happy about what you saw last night. Have you calmed down? You look quite fresh and well, smiling.
It's been the longest 24 hours, I think, ever as a Spurs fan, Ted. Honestly, I can't believe how bad it's got. I'm not the perfect man to dissect it because I'm still so angry. And there's so many things that have gone wrong at Tottenham. Last night's performance was embarrassingly bad. Like Van der Ven gets sent off, they score, and then we just fall apart. But to be honest, Ted, like we wasn't even good. The first 20 minutes of the game, we're miles off it. Crystal Palace was so much better than us. Adam Wharton was playing like he was Gucci. No one getting tight. Crystal Palace were way better than us, way better than us. And it's a sorry state of affairs that we find ourselves in. And it's toxic there at the minute. It really is.
I think Adam Wharton would probably appreciate that reference, to be fair, Jamie. You'd be forgiven, though, I suppose, for thinking Spurs are too big to go down. It hasn't happened in our lifetimes, but did the reality of possible relegation hit home last night with the performance as well as the result?
Yeah, look, Ted, I'll be honest. When I watch Spurs, I think it's not great at the minute, but we'll find a way. We've got some good players, Van der Ven and Romero and, Solanke's a decent player. Players will come back fit. We'll find some results. What I saw last night, we're going down. Like at this moment in time, we are going down. West Ham are performing better than us. Nottingham Forest have got fight in them. Leeds have got fight in them. This team has got no fight whatsoever. They don't want to be there. They don't want to be in this situation. You can tell. They can't string two passes together. Two passes. They don't get tight. They're 15 yards off players. There's no fight and will to try and win the ball back. Crystal Palace just knocking it around. Midfielders getting on the ball. It's embarrassing. I can't believe what I'm watching as a Spurs fan and the people that are paying a lot of money to go and watch that team play, and they're putting in them performances. We're going down. At this moment in time, we're going down. Unless something changes drastically, whether that's the manager, the players find some belief, I don't think they care. I'm looking at them and thinking, do these guys care if they get relegated? There's too many players there who think they're too big for a dogfight. Too many of them. Van der Ven, the captain. Romero's the captain. I don't think they care. I don't think it really hurting them inside because they'll just leave in the summer if they go down. See you later. Not my problem.
It's a huge thing to say that you think they're going down at the moment unless things change. What could change then? Because supporters were angry with the board last night. Jamie, small section even turned on each other. How toxic is it and how do you change that toxicity?
Well, I'd sack the manager. Igor Tudor. I've just heard Bridgie there talking that they're going to keep him for now. International break coming up. You've got a guy to come in and do a job. His job was to come in and get quick results. That's what his remit was because he's done it in the past. But if you look at him at the end of most of his managerial reigns, he's terrible. Falls out with everyone, then they get rid of him. But yeah, all right, he had a remit of he gets results when he first comes in. Well, he hasn't. He's lost 3 on the bounce. And the performances have got worse. Like, his tactics are terrible. And I know we've got injuries, but he's miles off it. He's got no experience in the Premier League. He's shown no evidence that he can get quick results. All he's done is come in and moan about the problems there is at Tottenham. We know there's problems at Tottenham. That's why you're in the job. But he's come in and made it worse. We've got worse. Now, Thomas Frank, at least with Thomas Frank, if you had him in charge, he knows what the Premier League is. He knows, teams and tactics and how to get results. He's done it at Brentford. So at least he knows he's got Premier League experience. This guy has no clue about the Premier League. He's never managed in the Premier League before. So the only change you can make, the board ain't selling up. They're not going. You can't change the players because the window's not open. The only thing you can do is get rid of the manager. Get rid of him. He ain't good enough. This is desperate times. If this guy carries on in charge of Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, I genuinely think that we're going to go down because he's shown nothing. The players don't care enough. He's like a school teacher, a substitute teacher who comes in and you go, I'll coast through this lesson today because, he's not going to be here next week. That's what it is with this guy. He's not going to be there at the end of the season. So no one cares enough to actually want to do something about it. Get rid of him.
Talking of caring, do you care about the Atletico Madrid game then, or is that where you'd bring in a new manager and just give him a free hit in that game, as incredible as that is to say?
Yeah, Bridgie made a really good point. This is the first time I think that a team that goes into the knockout stages of a Champions League, and you'd actually like to do without it. We could do without it because it's so important to pick up results in the Premier League now that everything else really is irrelevant. Like, if we beat the Atletico Madrid, well, it doesn't. Who cares? We're going down. Like, we need to beat Nottingham Forest. We need to beat Liverpool. We need to get some results in the Premier League. It's almost like, yeah, Champions League. Well, yeah, look, great. But the elephant in the room is the fact that Spurs are 1 point above the drop zone. I don't know. Can you breed some confidence in the team? Because we have been decent in the Champions League. Can you breed some confidence and some belief that we can play some decent football? It's almost a free hit for the players because no one really cares if we're in or out of it at the minute. So you're almost like, look, go and play, lads. Go and get some confidence and see if we can take that into a Premier League game. Because our Champions League performances have been good. But when we go back to the Premier League, we're terrible again. I don't know. I don't know. I just it's a sorry state of affairs that we find ourselves in. That Spurs are in the Champions League against Atletico Madrid, and we're sat here going, could do without it.
You never know, you might win it by accident, Jamie. What about the players? You mentioned them, more red cards than wins in the league this season. Who's to blame for the ill discipline? How annoyed are you with Van der Ven and Romero, who were, I guess, coming into the season, the star defenders?
Yeah, look, you can only blame the players, really. I mean, the Van der Ven one last night, what's he doing? What's he doing? His man gets the better of him. He scoops it up in the air. He knows he's in trouble with Van der Ven. Don't bring him down. Just accept that he's going to have a shot. Accept maybe that they score. You can't pull him down there. Like that just kills the team. It kills the team. You're down to 10 men, penalty, and a red card. It's like, come on, you're the captain. You can't make them mistakes. And there's too many times that actually Van der Ven is making them mistakes. And I don't know whether that's because he thinks he's too big for Tottenham and he probably don't want to be there anymore and he wants out. Or it's just maybe he's not as good as everyone has made him out to be, and he gets done. He gets done a lot. Romero's the same, he gets done. They're rash. You can't have that. It's all right seeing Van der Ven make these marauding runs through midfield, but we get opened up at the back because he's out of position all the time. It's come on. I need to see so much better from the players, so much the standards of the players. I don't think, look, the manager's not helping them. I don't think the manager's helping them, but they're not helping themselves either. I don't think any of them have got any belief. Honestly, Ted, if you watched the game last night, first 20 minutes, they're scared. They are scared to touch the ball. They're scared to make something happen. They're scared to give the ball away. So all they're doing is just going sideways, backwards, back to Vicario, hope that we pick up a second ball. It's painful. It's hard because they're in a position that they've not found themselves in as players before, probably. But you have got to have some cojones to say, I'm going to get on the ball and I'm going to make something happen. I'm going to drag this team out of the mud. Because at the moment, every single one of them players, what I'm watching, are hiding. They're hiding. They don't want to be involved in this.
Talking of players, your top scorer from last season, there was a bizarre moment when Palace brought on Brennan Johnson. He got a standing ovation from the home fans, Jamie. How do you reflect on that decision to sell him? Was that wrong?
Well, at the moment, you'd say it's a bad decision. I thought we were selling Brennan Johnson because the Spurs board were going to say, we're going to go and sign some big players. Brennan Johnson, we're going to recoup some money and we're going to go and spend 70 million on a top winger that we needed. So that was okay. That was understandable. But then you signed Conor Gallagher and a left back, 18-year-old from Brazil called Souza that no one's heard of. And you're sitting there going, hold on a minute. You've got rid of Brennan Johnson, who, listen, he's not brilliant, but he'd get you goals. And you've not brought anyone in. Conor Gallagher has come in and you go, okay, yeah, he's an engine, he'll work hard. But this Spurs board said that they were going to sign top players. We were going to make a statement. In January, we were crippled with injuries. And then you sold Brennan Johnson. Kudus got injured, and there's no one there to play. We haven't got a right winger. You're asking Muani to play out there. He's a centre forward. Like, come on. It's the recruitment and the running of the football club has to be brought into, the frame. This cannot continue. This is years and years of bad decision from the top, which has filtered down into the squad, into the team, and now they're in a position where they find themselves where he could go down. The players ain't good enough. The players are not good enough. It's as simple as that. And you had the opportunity to go out in January and sign some top players that would have helped you get results, got you over the line, but they didn't do it. They didn't do it. You're putting Conor Gallagher. Come on.
Jamie, Sunday, March the 22nd. How big is the game with Nottingham Forest? This is, by the way, the same day that Arsenal are playing the League Cup final.
Yeah.
Could be, I suppose, a nightmare day in what's been a nightmare few months.
Every day watching Spurs at the moment is a nightmare. Like, it is. Like, genuinely, I'm hurting. And I didn't think I'd hurt as much as this. It is painful. That game against Nottingham Forest is a cup final. Right? And anyone who wants to try and play it down, Igor Tudor keeps trying to play it down. It's not a must-win game. It's a must-win game. Every game's a must-win game. We're 1 point above the drop zone. Every game's a must-win game. These players need to know these are cup finals. You're in a cup final every week until the end of the season. You've got 9 games, 9 cup finals. If you keep saying, oh, you know, it's not a must-win game, what are you on about? Like, yes, you've got to fight. You've got to go and press. You've got to get tight. You've got to stop crosses. You've got to win balls in midfield. You've got to not make mistakes at the back. It's like I'm watching a reserve team play, like it don't matter. You're in a reserve league and we just want to play, oh, can we play nice football? Let's see if we can develop some young talent. No, people's jobs are on the line. People are going to lose their jobs. It's like people at Tottenham, when you get relegated, ask any football club in the country. If you get relegated, people are there lose their jobs. These players need to understand that people are going to lose their jobs if they don't produce results. People that they know at that football club will lose their jobs because they're going to have to cut costs. You're going to lose £250 million if this club goes down. Who's going to pay for it? The people there who have been there for years, who matter and actually care about the football club. They're the people that pay for it because they lose their jobs.
It's a good point, Jamie, isn't it? Because I've heard some older Spurs fans talk about a bit of nostalgia the last time they got relegated in the 70s, different trips. But do you sense that it's just more catastrophic now because of the finance?
Yeah, of course it is. I mean, you're talking about Tottenham, who have got, you know, all right, it's not the biggest wage bill, but you've got some players on there on 180, 150 grand a week. You talk about relegation clauses, who's in it, who's got it, who hasn't. But you're talking about, you know, Champions League football, European football, you know, TV rights. You know, you talk about everything that comes with being in the Premier League as a football club, and a football club that's never been relegated out of the Premier League. You're one of the standalones in the league that has never gone down. That holds you in a high regard. You are a Category A football club. If you get relegated, you then become. You're not a Big Six team. You can't be classed as a Big Six football club if you get relegated from the Premier League. You're out of it. You're gone. You lose £250 million going in the Championship. And who's to say you come back? I've played in that league 46 games. Every team going at it, non-stop, week in, week out. Like, that is not... If Spurs thinks that you can just roll up to the Championship and crawl yourself out of it because you're Spurs, you're living in cuckoo land. Look at Leeds. They're down there for 13 years. They're a massive football club. It ain't that easy. And these players have shown no evidence that they're any good to even get out of the Championship. That team that played last night wouldn't even get in the playoffs in the Championship. It wouldn't even get in the playoffs because they got no fight. They got no passion. None of them have showed any quality. You'd get rolled over by Wrexham.
Can you fathom watching them in the Championship?
I'd have to. Listen, I've got to. Look, I follow my club. I know it's my job, and people moan at me, say, "Oh, you're going to lose your job if Spurs go down." Well, I'm not, because I'm a presenter, you know. So, and Spurs are still going to be talked about, even in the Championship, right? I follow all of football, but yeah, of course, I've got to watch my club. I'm going to have to. I'd have to suck it up and watch us play, and there'll be loads of talking points, of course, of Spurs in the Championship, the rebuild, but you know, it is what it is. You have to take it on the chin. 3 teams go down every season. It's the same for every team. This is obviously remarkable because it's Tottenham. But, you know, big football clubs like Nottingham Forest, West Ham, they go down and they have to suck it up. As fans, you have to suck it up. But this is probably one of the biggest shocks ever. I think this is the biggest shock than Leicester City winning the Premier League. For me, this is the biggest shock. Spurs going down. We're in the Champions League.
Can you imagine Championship football at that stadium? Would be quite a scene, wouldn't it, Jamie? Appreciate your time and your passion as ever. Final question. You said you want Igor Tudor to leave now. Who would come in then to replace the interim?
Get Harry Redknapp in. Get Harry Redknapp in. Get Robbie Keane in. Jermaine Defoe. People who know the football club. Add some affiliation. They need someone. The fans need someone who they can relate to. someone they can get behind, whether it's good or bad in terms of results. They can get behind someone because they know that they've got their person in there who cares about Tottenham, who cares about that football club. The problem the fans have got, and it's so toxic, they've got no relatability to this Igor Tudor. He could come in, bury the football club, go down, and he leaves in the summer, and he don't care. It's not my fault. Is this and that going on at the football club? The football club needs people in there who care about Tottenham, and whoever that is, whether it's Harry Rant, get some people in there that care about this club. Because at the moment, it looks to me like no one from top to bottom cares about this football club. No one. It's only the fans that seem to care about what the situation that the club's in. I can't believe what I'm watching. Can't believe it.